Good afternoon, mariners. This is your Tropical Atlantic Marine Weather Briefing for Sunday, April the 6th, 2025. It will be valid through Friday, April the 11th, and it has been prepared by the Tropical Analysis and Forecast Branch at the National Hurricane Center. For the current hazards, there are two gale warnings active. The first is in the western Gulf of America, where winds are expected to diminish below gale force tonight, with an area of 8 to 12 foot seas persisting into Monday. Also in the far eastern Atlantic, along a cold front, a gale warning is active, and winds are also expected to diminish below gale force tonight. A very large swell event is ongoing in the northeastern portion of our waters, with peak seas expected near 23 feet, around 30 north, through Monday night. And this will be accompanied by a large area of 12-foot seas that will build behind the cold front down toward 18 north, eventually subsiding below 12 foot by midweek. Looking at current conditions as of this morning, you'll see the cold front in the western Gulf of America with gale force conditions behind the front in the far southwestern Gulf of America. Associated with that cold front, there are two areas of 8 to 12 foot seas, one behind the frontal passage and one associated with return flow in advance of the front. Moving to the northeastern portion of our waters, you can see the cold front draped west to east across the northern portion of the waters. And associated with that, we have our gale force conditions behind the front and quite a large area of building 8 to 12 foot seas all the way up to greater than 20 foot seas in the far northeastern portion of the waters. And then finally, in the Central Caribbean, we have an area of enhanced trade winds that's associated with an area of 8 to 12 foot seas in this region. Moving into Monday, we have an area of strong winds behind this very strong late season cold front that has pushed all the way through the Gulf of America. And associated with that, we have an area of 8 foot and greater seas up to 12 to 14 feet in the southwestern Gulf. Moving into the northeastern portion of our waters, the cold front has pushed further to the south as high pressure is building in behind it. And associated with that, there's an even larger area of 8 to 12 foot waves, with waves still approaching 20 feet in the far northeastern portion of our waters. By Tuesday morning, the cold front has pushed off the east coast of the U.S. With an area of fresh to strong winds in advance of the front. Further to the east, the cold front has pushed further to the south, and along with the southern push of the cold front, the area of 8 to 12 foot seas has expanded to the south and to the west, although the magnitude of the peak seas in the northeastern portion of the domain has subsided below 20 feet. Moving into Wednesday, the cold front has pushed further off the east coast of the U.S. With an area of strong winds behind the cold front and an area of 8 to 10 foot seas beginning to build in the northeasterly flow behind the front. Moving further to the east, our cold front has begun to dissipate. However, there is a large area of 8 to 10 foot seas that remains covering much of the eastern portion of our waters. As we move into Thursday, the strong winds have persisted behind the cold front, and associated with that, the seas have continued to build and expand to the southwest, with an area of 8 to 12 foot seas from the northern Bahamas approaching the Florida east coast. Further east in our waters, conditions are beginning to improve, with an area of 8 to 12 foot residual seas primarily in the southeastern portion of our waters. And by Friday, conditions are beginning to improve across our waters, with high pressure dominating and just an area of residual seas in the 8 to 10 foot range in the far eastern portion of our waters. And finally, to summarize the hazards, there are two gale warnings currently active, one in the Gulf of America and another in the northeastern portion of our waters near a cold front east of Bermuda near 30 north. Both of these areas of gale force winds are expected to diminish tonight. And then in the northeastern portion of our waters, there is a significant swell event ongoing where seas are currently up to 23 feet near 30 north. And this area of swell is expected to expand over the coming days before subsiding below 12 feet by midweek. This has been your Tropical Atlantic Marine Weather Briefing for Sunday, April the 6th. The next briefing will be on Thursday, April the 10th by 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Stay safe, mariners.